Okay, so I have on bright yellow today, and tradition would tell you that you wore dark colors because you could attract the dead to you and they might not leave. I don't believe that. I think it's a really interesting tradition. I do want to show you some of these old gravestones because, as I said, I really love history, and to me old gravestones and the artwork that's on them is some really interesting history. You've probably been in a cemetery at some point, and I doubt that you've ever really taken the time. They all have crosses, they have hands, they have Bibles. All of those things are related to the age of the gravestone, and the symbolism behind them is really interesting, and it varies from region to region in the country. So I thought I might walk down really quickly because I have this mother-daughter thing to go to with my grandmother, but I wanted to show you maybe a little bit of what I'm talking about super quick, so that you, the next time you go in, can take a look at some of these and appreciate them for the art that they are. Okay, so here's a good example. I don't know if you can see this or not. The hand pointed up. That would mean that they expected Mary A., wife of R.R. Stephen, to go to heaven. If you ever find one with the hand pointed down, and I have seen a couple, that's not a good thing. Probably not the greatest of persons. You also have to remember that as expensive as these are today, they were just as expensive back in the day, and that's not a good thing. You can see the engraving on this one, and all of this would have meaning and symbolism. It's not just decorative like you would think, which is something that you need to keep in mind next time you go into a cemetery. Try to appreciate the art for something that it is. You know, cemeteries are a very peaceful, quiet place. This one has a beautiful cross on it. I'm pretty sure that just means they were Christians. This one is from 1873. My grandparents' farm, who is just about 15-20 miles down the road, on the farm we actually have some gravestones that date back to 1770s. So this Elkton, Kentucky area is rich in history. Something else I want to draw your attention to, if you can see the plant on that, if we could identify the plant as well as some of this other, it all has meaning. The plants, in the past, you would give them certain plants for certain things. I know we've all kind of heard that and kind of laughed about it and thought about it very little. But those symbolism back then used to be a lot more rich because we didn't have the media that we have nowadays. So you can see all the detail on these. They're absolutely gorgeous. They can be, these gravestones, because this is a solid piece of marble here on the top, could be scrubbed and would be brilliantly white again. To do that, however, you need to have a professional. Do not try to do that by yourself. That would not be cool. Here's a really beautiful one. This one's from 1877 for the wife of Dr. W.D. Jefferson. I'll try to move it close so that you all can really get a sense of the beauty of this stone and just how exceptionally neat it is. One of the things that I am wanting to do myself is to maybe look into some more of this and compile kind of a small, probably be a pamphlet at first, but a small piece just to give for genealogists. Genealogy is definitely something that I do. So, you know, anything that I can do to contribute to the cause for those who have helped me so much. Can you see this? This also has symbolism, and it's beautifully carved. So, this one is from 1879, so you would want to find what the holding hand symbol meant for that time if you really wanted to understand the gravestone completely and what they were trying to tell you. There's some big holes here, so if my camera's a little shaky right now because I'm not looking through it, please forgive me, but I'm wondering if they're not snake holes, and that I don't like. We also have these symbols, if you can see it. Yeah, I think you can, on it. or some of the lodges and whatnot. Okay, so here's a really nice gravestone. Really pretty design at the top, if you can see. Very ornate. Of course, we all immediately notice gravestones such as this that have got really ornate statues. They're really beautiful. If you can see this one, it's really very beautiful. And this is something else that I will do on my channel, is take you into some of the most unique graveyards. There is a graveyard up in Nashville called Mount Olivet, and I will definitely have to take you there. I do really love the history and the beauty of these places. And if you can see the intricacy of that. Let's see if we can find a couple more, and then I am going to have to go because I passed my aunt on the road. She didn't see me, but I saw her. I've got another one with the shaking of hands back here. Let's see. But if I passed her, that meant she was headed to the church, and I don't want to be late. Nothing worse than being late and being in trouble, or feeling like you're in trouble, or making an entrance like that. I hate that. Okay, this one has some unique on it as well. If you can see, you do have the shaking hands, but just above it you have 3 links, which I would think would have to do with the Holy Trinity. And this one is from 1878, it looks like. So this hands and the Trinity were a big thing back in that time. What I do like about this cemetery is that they have taken the time to put some of the old, you can see there in the center of the screen, some of the old on new blocks to kind of protect it, which is awesome. Okay, so here's one that is very ornate. And I have seen these before, and if anybody knows what these mean, I have been looking to try to figure this out. I'll show you in just a second. But you can see this and all the ornate. But down in here there are conch shells. And I've seen this at another cemetery in Robertson County. I'm just never quite sure what it means. But they are full-sized. Like I'll put my hand down here so you can kind of get an idea of how big they are. And I have small hands. I'm just 5'1", so I have small hands. But you can see the beautiful sculpture on this one. And this one's from 1882. But you can see the beautiful sculpture on this lovely, unfortunately it's been pooped on, but on this. These appear to be children's graves, unfortunately. Beautiful as they are, that one's very difficult to read. You'd need to do a rubbing, but you need actual permission to do that. Never do a rubbing without knowing what you're doing. You could definitely damage the stone, and that would be really bad. You can see on this one some of the beauty. Okay. Here, once again, we have flowers. On this one, we have a dove. Can't really read that. I think it's the 1880s. We have calla lilies farther up. I'll show that to you in a second. Let's see. I'm not really seeing any other major symbolism around here. We do have these that have got a design in them. But this is definitely the old part of the cemetery. I would challenge you all to come out and look at them and to appreciate them for what they are, which is a beautiful piece of art that is left in memory of a person. I like it when they say in sacred memory. That's pretty cool. Okay, so you can see this one. It's got the pretty rope around it. Now we're getting back into like the oldest part of the cemetery where we just had straight stones. These will be like the 1700 stones. They really didn't do more ornate things until about the 1800s. So if you find stones that look like these here in the ground that you can see, these that are straight with either a straight curve, or you had some that were a little more ornate because they have, let's see if I can go to these. This one is 1836, but this says sacred in memory of, just like I was telling you about that I love so much. They're typically just a flat stone, you can see the plain back. Typically from the late 1700s into the early 1800s, you were seeing in the 1880s how that had changed. Here's one that unfortunately somebody has felt the need to knock over, which is very sad. These really should be preserved carefully, as they are very precious and very fragile. Here's one that is pointed this way. Typically they're pointed to the east as well, and that is so that when you come up out of the ground you get to see Jesus. Another little piece that you may or may not have known. That is the reason that all the gravestones point in the direction that they point. So if you ever come and you're lost and you're trying to find your way out, you'll know which direction to kind of look. Alright, so I'm going to head back this way now. There was what I think is a wood gravestone this way, so that you can see what I was talking about when I was talking about that. There are people's houses across from here. I'm pretty sure they think I'm crazy. I hope y'all are enjoying this video and my commentary. Here is some pretty artwork on this one. You can see it. This one is from 1883. Oh, it's got a little bit of a crack in it, so some kind of a structural issue going on there. My makeup's going to be melted by the time I get there, but that's okay. This one's really pretty, and it's held up really well where you can see it. It's for an infant, unfortunately. Oops, sorry guys. I forgot that you all can't turn sideways all of a sudden on this, like a picture. But you can see the flowers. I believe that's lily of the valley and roses at the top. Okay, so I'm going to take you back over here really quick, and that'll be the end of this video. I promised to give you some more lovely cemetery videos with some more interesting items in them. This one also has some symbolism at the top with its letter, which is commemorative, along with some of the plants that have symbolic meaning. Here is one of these carved trees that I was mentioning to you all. This one may just be an urn. It's at an angle. Kind of neat. It may just have been a place to put flowers because of the way that that is. I have come across them where they are trees, and they really appear to be trees that for whatever reason are for that person. Here's another very ornate, nope, we already saw that one. Never mind. So, and even today we kind of do some of the symbolism, just not to the same extent. Unfortunately, this cemetery has been vandalized a little, which is a little worrying. But you can see in this one that they have a church and trees. So even today we do some symbolism, just not to the same extent, and not, unfortunately, not with the same beauty. A lot of them are not. You can see this one. This has some very beautiful carving on it. And this one also has a dove and some neat. This is kind of unique. The shape is like a crown. You have a dove and you have the round. This one's from 1860s. It's a very unique stone. On the back you can see that it was even carved on the back. It's not a flat back like what you saw from the late 1700s, early 1800s. This one I just think is neat because it has it down the side. So, okay guys, so I gotta go and go to this mother-daughter thing. Ooh, loud. But I will see y'all a little later. Bye.